we'll go on to our mailbag here. We got some questions. And remember, if you become a member, you could go to our homepage on the channel, click join. You can become a member. Any comment you leave, it's not technically a rule, but I guess we made it a rule that we'll read anything you write, barring anything ridiculous.
You'll get a question answered. If you leave 20 questions, we might not answer all of them, but you'll get a question answered.
So you can go and join for $5, $4.99 a month, I believe it is, on the homepage. And we appreciate everyone there have been a lot of members. Zach's been pushing for it because he really wants to quit his 3 a.m. wake up job. I think it's like 2:30.
He's asleep right now.
So, all right, let's start at the mailbag here from one of our members. Yeah, here it is. From Butt Pounder 420, he says, make the case for and against Eli Manning getting into the Hall of Fame. It's pretty easy to me to make the case, to make either case. But in terms of for, and I do think Eli Manning should be a Hall of Famer, we are talking about someone who's number 10 all-time in passing yards, number 10 all-time in passing touchdowns, started 222 straight games. It's two-time Super Bowl champion and MVP, beat the greatest team potentially ever. Those are the accolades for Eli Manning. I know we're in an era where we throw the ball more, and that's why you have, Matt Ryan is in your top 10. Kirk Cousins could end up in top 10 of these stats. But Eli Manning was a good quarterback for a long time. I don't think there was many stretches where you feared Eli. There were a few, but there's 2 Super Bowls. If you take away the Super Bowls, you're probably not talking about a Hall of Famer, but with them, I think he gets in.
I legitimately can't think of a reason not to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's because he's made the playoffs 6 times in his career and was a 4-time Pro Bowler and never made.
He was a 500 quarterback.
Yeah, never made an All-Pro.
Yeah, but he beat the best ever twice in 2 Super Bowls.
Oh no! Again, that's why I would put him in.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's like the SEC. It just means, like, I get it. People want to say over his career, was he that good? Was he ever the best quarterback in the NFL? No. But 2 runs with 2 of the most iconic plays in NFL history. I mean, you could argue the helmet catch is the most iconic play in NFL history. That's right him in a huge moment in this, like. It's up there. No one can say it's not in terms of impact, in terms of moments. And when you've got a guy who's doing that, and he's a Manning, the last name doesn't hurt.
Manning name means something.
I probably, if I were building a Hall of Fame, I'm not sure I'd put him in. But it's the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of how good you are as a player. And Eli Manning deserves the fame.
Fame-wise, yes, he is. That's a good point.
Also, look at that path in that one Super Bowl he went on to. Like, he won at Green Bay.
I mean, both of them. They went on the road the whole way.
Yeah.
Those were 2 all-time runs.
All-time runs. Yeah. And he was sensational. He didn't get carried on those runs. Eli Manning was amazing. I mean, think about the second Patriots win, the throw to Manningham. As great as the Tyree play was, a lot of luck involved there. And Tyree, insane catch. The Manningham throw and catch was, one of the best you'll see, especially given the moment. Now, guys like Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, take away Super Bowls, probably better careers than Eli. But
you see, honestly, I think Rivers is probably a better quarterback than Eli.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Rivers,
but
no, it's not close. Rivers was a much better quarterback.
But it doesn't matter. Rivers, but Eli won.
Super Bowls matter. All right, the next
they matter the most.
Comes from and we appreciate you helping me out with the pronunciation. We know that I can't speak English sometimes.
I can't believe he went butt pounder, not ass pounder.
from Jack, come on, man.
From Nisha Salis here. Nisha Salis. He says, I hope I got that right. What are some ways Atlanta can pivot from their draft blunders to have success moving forward next season? Here's the thing with Atlanta. I know that everyone's mad about the Michael Penix pick. We talked a lot about it. You can look at the video where we all break it down, whether or not we liked it or not. And we actually didn't mind it. But after that, they did go after D-line a lot. And that was a huge need of this team. You have to hope a couple of those guys can come into play. Their front 7 needs help. They need edge rushing help. That's why you wanted someone like a Dallas Turner or Latu, perhaps. But the way that you move forward from here, I mean, look, you can't just sit back and go, oh, we blew it with Penix. This is still the best team in the NFC South. What you need to do is have your lines operate. Get your D-line to a spot where it can be suitable, and hopefully, again, those rookies pan out. You have to protect Kirk Cousins. You expect the Falcons' offensive line to do that. If Kirk gets pressure, we've seen it for years, falls apart. I mean, completely falls apart. Look at the Eagles Vikings games. Most of them, until really last year. When you get after Kirk Cousins, he can't move, and especially now off a ruptured Achilles. So I would just say make sure those trenches are okay. And there's a lot of talent on this Atlanta team and other places.
Yeah, mainly it's the offensive line. I mean, Kirk Cousins has a decent plethora of weapons in Atlanta. No one can deny that. With time, he's a good quarterback. The thing is, he's not mobile.
With time, I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I think if you protect Kirk, he's one of the best pure throwers of the football.
I would agree. But
they also, I think the Falcons' offensive line is decent. They've got 5 starters.
They should be. Yeah, they should be good.
If it's me, I'm looking at the defense that really underperformed, because you saw Kirk Cousins can win you shootouts, but you can't win Super Bowls by playing shootouts. So the Falcons really want to take that next step forward, especially with Penix eventually, hopefully coming in and being good. Safety, they've got one guy who can play safety. Cornerback, they've got one player who can play cornerback. Edge rusher, they had 10 sacks last year among the players that were there and stuck around. They need the defense to improve
that's how you look at the Penix pick and you just go, what the hell are they doing? But yeah, defense needs to improve, protect Kirk. And the Falcons are still probably going to win the NFC South, but we'll see. All right. Craig Sheeran 602 says, after the NFL draft, how would you rate each division from easy to difficult? As in more good teams, the more difficult. So I have a little 8-1 here. Let me know if you guys have any problems with this. At 8, I have the NFC South with the Falcons and all the, Panthers, Bucks, etc. 7, the AFC West. The Chiefs are great, but after that, some questions with the Chargers. I don't think the Broncos or Raiders are all that good. Actually, they're ahead of. 6 is the NFC East. I think the Eagles and Cowboys will have good years. The Commanders and Giants, probably going to be bad. You could maybe flip-flop those. 5, I have the AFC South with Houston, Jacksonville. The Colts could be good with Anthony Richardson. Tennessee, I'm not too high on, but they're good to steal one every once in a while. 4, I have the NFC West. I do think that the Rams and 49ers are going to be 2 of the better teams in the league. Cardinals should improve, as Ziggy said. And the Seahawks I'm not too impressed with, but they're always somewhat competitive. 3, the AFC East. Who knows what you're going to get from the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. Those could all be top 10 teams by the end of the year. New England, we know no. 2, the NFC North. Again, maybe a little bit of bias here because the Vikings are probably not going to be that good, but Packers and Lions could end the year as 2 top 5 teams. Bears should be very improved. And 1, your AFC North, which is just loaded from top to bottom.
Well, that's just carried by the Steelers mainly.
Yeah,
you take them out of the AFC North, it's probably not number 1.
And any big issue with that? Would you guys agree? AFC North number 1?
I think the NFC East is better than the AFC South. I think I'll probably just flip-flop 5 and 6.
Okay.
I mean, to me, you have two guaranteed playoff teams in the NFC East, Philly and Dallas. Jacksonville's a question mark.
Jacksonville is a question.
The Titans stink. I'm not super high on the Colts. So I'd probably just flip up that. But yeah, I think AFC North is 1, yeah.
That's the correct power ranking, I think.
Thank you.
Got it, Paul.
Another member, Max Valentino. Thanks again, Max, for being a member to the show. He says, we'll go over to Ziggy on this one. This year, there are 0 head coaches that are also the GM. Do you think there will ever be another person as the coach and GM? And if so, who could potentially be the next one? Do you have a thought? I have an idea.
That's an interesting question. Who will be the next one? I have no clue. Some ownership groups are okay with this, some aren't. But there shouldn't be another one because that kind of structure is just terrible. Like ideally you want a GM who's very secure and who doesn't feel any risk, but their job of GM and head coach are just different. The head coach's job, they've got the scheme, they've got the plans to get the best out of players they do. But you saw this particularly in the later Belichick years. It's really easy as a coach to just tunnel on your kind of guys. Mm-hmm. And you see this, I think, sometimes when college coaches go to the NFL, you see the same thing. They're looking for guys that fit their scheme. This is why everything fell apart. For instance, Nick Saban with the Dolphins. But at a certain point as a coach, you have to just work with what you're given. It's really easy when you're in there working with the guys every day, seeing them improve to get personally attached. On the other hand, like the GM job is incredibly intensive. You don't want someone who was to do the head coach job, equally intensive, to have to do both of those things. So I think it's a step forward. I think it's really unlikely the GM coach thing works out. It's incredible it did in New England for so long. But if I had to pick who it was going to be next, I guess I'd pick Vrabel because he basically had that job in Tennessee, and maybe someone will hire him to do it.
Vrabel doesn't even have a job.
I know, but like, look, he's a consultant for the Browns. He's going to step in whenever they fire a what's his name coach of the year, Krapansky.
Yeah, that was. Look, I've always thought
like whenever the Browns play the Steelers, he goes from Stefanski to Kraps's-Pansky.
Yeah.
That's all
I've
I'm
never
saying.
been a huge Stefanski guy personally.
The big bad Steelers.
Ziggy, what do you think of someone that I wrote down? And I don't expect this to happen, but if we have to pick someone, I could see a world where Sean Payton could assume complete control in Denver.
I mean, it's basically what's happened. I think he's never gonna have the title because he wants someone to blame.
Yeah, that's probably true. I could see Sean Payton, though they're so heavily invested in this guy. And obviously he has the reputation that if one day, George Payton just does something that pisses everyone off, I could see Sean Payton saying, all right, I'm taking complete control of this situation, which again, he sort of already has.
I'm going to say Jim Harbaugh.
I don't think that's a horrible one. It's gonna be one of the older, more respected coaches. And I don't think any of us expect that to happen anytime soon. But
yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think it should. I think the GM gets the hand and the coaches bring the best out of the hand they're dealt.
Let's see.
They're both such hard jobs.
Yeah,
man.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to be both. From Tony RPH 480, he says, "Paul Farrington show. Please rank the pressure to succeed on the head coaches in the NFC North highest to lowest." His order went number 1, Chicago, with Matt Eberflus. Number 2, he had Dan Campbell in Detroit. 3, Matt LaFleur, and 4, Kevin O'Connell. Ziggy, as a fellow NFC North fan, do you agree with that ranking?
Not quite. I'll say I think number 1 is actually LaFleur. If we're talking, I'm assuming we're not talking job security here. We're talking like pressure to succeed.
Yeah, pressure.
The Packers feel like their time is now.
Well, wait.
If you
would you say, I guess pressure to succeed is different from job.
It's a little different. Job security is one of them. But if you're LaFleur right now, the coach of the Packers, you're saying we've got to build on next year and we have to be better than last year, right? Because if they have the same results, a lot of the fans are going to be upset. Mm-hmm. So while LaFleur, I think the team is better and his job is secure, he's got to improve on what was already a pretty good year, or people are going to be disappointed. Then meanwhile, I think that Getsy, I think that the Eberflus and Getsy with the Bears are at number 2, just because, again, their jobs are in danger. But if you look at how much they actually need to improve, it's not nearly as much. It's not nearly as hard, and they've got a lot more coming in to do it. Then I got Campbell at 3 and O'Connell at 4.
Yeah, I actually kind of like it. Is different when you think about it. The question being pressure to succeed. I probably go LaFleur, Campbell, Eberflus, O'Connell. But if it's job security, I actually do think Eberflus is closest to being canned. Like they start off really poorly.
Especially now too, because there's expectations for the Bears.
And it's weird because normally you do buy yourself some extra time. But I don't like Eberflus is a weird case where I actually don't think he bought himself that much more time with Caleb Williams. If he's not good, they're going to try and find a new dude. That I would say is Eberflus. Then none of the other 3 guys are getting fired anytime soon.
On your pressure to succeed, I would go with Green Bay, LaFleur at 1 for sure. Then I'd go with Dan Campbell and the Lions.
They have expectations.
Just had the year they had, and now why not? Let's do it again. 3 is the Bears, Eberflus, and 4 is O'Connell.
Think about in Green Bay if they have, given the way they finished last year, how deflating it would be if they came out and
crap the bed.
Yeah. Now I don't think
if they don't win a playoff game this year.
I mean, they don't. Let's say they don't go to the playoffs potentially. That is just a. And there's a world where it happens again. I do think Jordan Love has crossed the barrier to actually being borderline star here.
But Jordan Love's going to sign a deal probably this offseason where he's getting paid $50 million plus.
Yeah, no.
That really limits your window of the cheap Jordan Love. And if you waste one of those years, this is prime Super Bowl winning chance for the Packers. Mm-hmm. And if they can't do it this year or next year, it gets so much harder.
And it's the same deal with the Lions.
Yeah.
They feel like that they have to win also.
From Jeremy, JB 4345. He says, you discussed the new NFC North quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy. Real quick, though, what about Packers quarterback Michael Pratt? So the Tulane quarterback, he said he had a big bowl victory over USC and Caleb Williams. He said, how? Shouldn't USC have had better players and coaches than Tulane? I thought USC was sitting a lot of people for that game.
Caleb Williams stinks.
Yeah, I thought USC sat a lot of people. I could be forgetting that. He says this just foreshadowing. Did Papa Bear talk smack about the Holy Mother or something? I actually didn't watch a lot of Michael Pratt, but Tulane. Think about Tulane as a program. Here's where they were. 2018, 19, 20, 21. They had, or what was this? Yeah, 21. They had 7, 7, 6, and 2 wins. Finally, Michael Pratt, I guess he came out of his shell, and then they won 12 and 2, 11 and 3. So clearly, when you're in a program like Tulane and you have them ranked and playing in these huge games, you are a very good quarterback. I don't know too much about him, but I do remember a lot of last season or the past couple of years hearing like, oh, this Tulane kid is good. 2,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions last year, 3,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 5 picks the year before. Like he could be someone that comes in and could serve as a backup.
Yeah, I mean, you do go back to that bowl game against USC. What we thought it was high scoring. USC played no defense, but they scored a lot of points. And every time Tulane had to answer it, Michael Pratt did.
I mean, the numbers like 27 touchdowns, like 5 interceptions.
What they scored in that game? They scored like 40 something points.
But
on
USC defense,
yeah, but still, but like that was Michael Pratt throughout most of his college career. Like he was awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, you worry about the injuries, but if you look what you're getting in the 7th round is a guy who's big enough, athletic enough, and strong enough, and smart enough. Like you throw enoughs in there. And the guy could be a good or even great backup with potential to be like a very low-level Jacoby Brissett-like starter.
Let's see. From Dan Stoyer, he says, hey, guys, great content as usual. I think Jerry Jones is confused by what all-in means. If you own the Cowboys, what would it look like if you went all-in to try and win the Super Bowl this upcoming season? Well, it's probably good I'm not an NFL owner because my version of all-in is really go all-in, probably make some mistakes, but we knew running back was a huge hole. They brought Zeke back. I probably would have gone after Derrick Henry. We knew that they had a couple guys on defense that were let go. I think Vander Esch retired. I'd just be swinging for the fences. I would have been going after all the stars. But that the Cowboys were kind of quiet this offseason. So many of the fans are disappointed. Especially when you look at what Philly's done over the past few months with Saquon, the corners, and the draft. I would have been taking big swings. I would have started with Henry, and then I would have tried to get some D-line help. And we knew the O-line needed to be addressed as well. They did that in the draft, but I would have taken much bigger swings in free agency personally. Probably would have failed. Probably would have come back. I mean, it's the Cowboys. Probably wouldn't have worked out.
I mean, what they should actually be focusing on is getting Dak Prescott to a long-term deal instead of whatever they're doing now. Like this is what going in all in for next season actually looks like is signing their guys to long-term deals and then seeing what's left.
Yeah.
The weird thing they're doing now, the will they, won't they? Like, why are you doing that with CeeDee Lamb? Why are you doing that with Dak Prescott? What do you think they're going to get cheaper?
Oh, no, I completely agree with you. Get those guys under contract, and then you're right. You have the
see what's left and go for it. The uncertainty of not knowing how much money you have over the next few years makes it impossible to do free agency.
I mean, they've been doing this for forever, and yeah, it's just maybe that's the reason why they haven't been to the NFC Championship game in so long. Dan Stoyer also says, "Will you guys host a Pick'em group during this year where we can go up against you guys and see how smart or dumb we are?" I think that is something we've been talking about, and that might wind up being something for members. One of the member perks is you can enter the league and we'll have a group pick 'em, probably a prize as well. So that is probably going to be a members only event. Well, we have to get perks to members. We're trying to think of ideas.
And well, also, I got to show that I know I'm better. I know more about football. I'm better than guys. There's so many people. There's so many people in these comments that are like, "Oh, Ziggy doesn't know football." We'll find out.
No, but I've also seen a lot of Zig knows ball too.
Zig knows ball.
You got the backups. You got your backups.
We got a couple more questions here. James Library says, and thanks, James. We know you leave a lot of comments.
You a book reader, James Library?
Yeah. Not so much a question, but I wanted to get your thoughts on my unpopular NFL opinion. I think Sean Payton is one of the most overrated coaches in the NFL. I'll concede he's a brilliant offensive mind. See, that's the thing, James. You can't say he's overrated and then say brilliant offensive mind. But anyway, brilliant offensive mind. But as a head coach, I see him closer to Mike McCarthy than I do Bill Belichick. Take into account the fact that his only Super Bowl win came out of the Bounty Gate season, and if Favre decides to run, don't bring this game up. Favre decides to run for the first down instead of throw, they probably don't even make the Super Bowl. Sorry for bringing up the painful. Thank you. Then he says, Since then, ran New Orleans team to middling success, lots of 9-7, 7-9 records. Everyone will talk about the PI in the NFC title game, which is totally legitimate, but then conveniently forget they had overtime to try and win that game. Anyway, I think you get the point. What do you guys think?
What's his name? What's the question? James Library. All right, let me answer your question, James. So I've been saying this for the longest time, and you seem to you can see why you're going to agree with me now that NFL coaches, they don't matter. Drew Brees carried Sean Payton's ass to Super Bowl. Sean Payton comes to Denver and he's terrible. So when you say Sean Payton is an overrated coach, I would agree with you. I think most coaches are. I don't think coaching matters a whole lot in the NFL. I think it's your players. So I would agree. Yeah, I think Sean Payton is an overrated coach.
What do you think of Mike Tomlin going to the playoffs every single year?
I think he has a decent team, not a great team, and he goes to the playoffs with a decent team.
I mean, in the AFC.
When Mike Tomlin had a Hall of Fame quarterback, he won the Super Bowl.
Like, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, obviously you need great players. No one is going to argue that you need great players.
Drew Brees carried Sean Payton's ass to a Super Bowl.
Hold on, let's do a little comparison here. I
mean, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick just solidified.
Jack, I want to ask you this. We got a comparison here. We're counting out last season because I don't want anything that happened with the Broncos and Russ and any of that to count. I'm going to give you two coaches. Both of them have had a Hall of Fame quarterback for most of their career.
Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. That's my.
Go. Can you let me say what I'm going to say, Jack? Yeah. So you got 62% win rate. 9-8 in the playoffs, Super Bowl win.
Okay.
62% win rate, 11-10 in the playoffs, 1 Super Bowl win. Both had Hall of Fame quarterbacks for most of their career.
Okay, I'm about to be exposed somehow by Ziggy in a big way. I mean, I guess I'd probably take the second option because he has 11 wins in the playoffs.
You just took Mike McCarthy over Sean Payton. So when we talk about Hall of Fame quarterback track record of success, Sean Payton has done as much as Mike McCarthy, and we know how everyone thinks about Mike McCarthy. So no, I'm not convinced that Sean Payton is that guy. It seems every time it's someone else's fault. And I don't think he's going to get any better in Denver. Have fun, Bo Nix. It's going to be Bo Nix's fault. Then it's going to be the GM's fault. Then it's going to be the fans' fault.
Yeah, he agrees with you.
So you agree with me? Hell yeah. Oh, you don't see that often on this show. That's amazing.
I think Sean Payton is a great head coach. I really don't like him. I dislike Greg Williams, but look at the Saints franchise. Please go look at the Saints franchise. Look at their records. Look at their playoff appearances pre-Sean Payton. After he got there, of course, Drew Brees. I'm not going to argue. Drew Brees. I always think the quarterback is more, but who resurrected Drew Brees' career?
Who had 4 losing records out of 5 years with prime Drew Brees? From 2012 to 2016, they had 1 winning record with prime Drew Brees.
I mean, that's horrendous.
Kidding me?
How many years was Brees? How many did he play? Every single game that season?
Yeah, he was their leading passer every single one of those years.
Look, no, there were some down years in New Orleans, but they won a Super Bowl that they shouldn't have won. Yes. Then those later Brees teams, the ones that lost on the Minneapolis Miracle, the ones that lost in the Rams games. One of them those teams had great chances, multiple NFC Championship game appearances. Like, Sean Payton's a great head coach. And then look at Denver. Look at how horrible Nathaniel Hackett and that team were. Sean Payton last year had them looking like a playoff team by the end of the season. Like the Broncos were close to being a playoff team after being one of the laughing stocks of the league. Like, he's a good coach. We can't. Come on, guys.
No, but I also think Russ had a better season last year.
Yeah, because Sean Payton was there.
Russ needed Sean Payton to coach.
For me, there's no.
I think that was a huge difference.
For me, there's no correlation there at all.
How is there no correlation?
I think Russ had a bad season 2 years ago and was just more of himself this year. I don't think Sean Payton's a huge difference at all.
The main difference was that Sean Payton joined the team.
I don't think it was. How?
What do you mean how? He joined the team. That was the difference.
Russ is a half-decent QB. I think he had a bad season.
It's horrendous with Nathaniel Hackett. People were talking about Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, I ran a Bronco show. People, like, I was listening.
You're in a Bronco. You're in a Bronco show.
I was listening to people who knew about the team. They said Hackett was like out of his, was just.
Oh, no, I mean, Hackett was terrible. There's no question Sean Payton was an upgrade. No one's denying that.
But we're not saying upgrade versus like over, like he's overrated. Okay, it's a small upgrade, sure, but I think he's overrated.
Yeah,
but that's not. It's a different argument.
No, I'm arguing that Russ and the team was better because of Sean Payton.
You're saying Sean Payton.
Of course, he made him better.
You're saying Sean Payton is a great coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
Yeah, I think he's an overrated.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out.
There's no. It's a different thing to say like, oh, Sean Payton's better than Nathaniel Hackett versus Sean Payton's not overrated.
I mean, no, I was just saying the biggest difference was Sean Payton, and you said no.
I
think Russ and the team was better because Sean Payton joined the team. If the Hackett was there, I think they would have sucked again.
I honestly don't agree.
But here's the thing. I also think at the end of the day, you need the player. Steve Kerr's acknowledged that before. He said if he went to the Knicks instead of the Warriors, he would have been ran out of New York, laughed off the court.
How does Sean Payton?
I think great coaches, when combined with great players, that's when you can have dynasties, and that's when you have multiple time champions.
No such thing as a great coach. No such thing. Look at when Brady left the Patriots. There's no such thing.
I mean,
okay, that's silly.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. Like Andy Reid, like the
he has McNabb and Mahomes.
Yeah,
if you put
Alex Smith, they've won the division every single.
If Andy Reid coaches the
McNabb, like that's where you're dying. You're dying on the Donovan McNabb hill.
If Andy Reid coaches the Steelers, what's the difference?
He's a brilliant offensive mind. I mean,
you think the Steelers?
You're a Steelers fan.
You think we're sitting here at any different than 9-8?
Yeah, I of course I do.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think Andy Reid's the best coach in football.
I think that's absurd.
Go look at Andy Reid's time. And
so if you put Kevin O'Connell as the head coach of the Chiefs, they're not the favorites to win the Super Bowl anymore.
Bro,
it means nothing. Look what happens when Tom Brady leaves.
I just think Kevin O'Connell's very good.
Look what happens when Brady leaves the Pats.
If you put Nathaniel Hackett on the Chiefs, I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, I do know.
This is another one. Look, we had a question. What's Jack's worst take? This is one of them. So we're answering.
No, it's not. I have proof and stats to back it up. I have history to back it up.
No, go look at Andy Reid's coaching history. There's your history.
Yeah, he has Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but he was successful.
We're moving on from this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sean Payton sucked with Drew Brees.
He didn't suck. He went. All right. Here we go.
He's overrated as hell. So are most coaches.
Let us know in the comment section what you think.
And it's not Sean Payton making Russ better. It's Russ having a better season.
We're moving on from this.
Wait, no. I'm sorry. One more time here. Russ having a better season because of Russ.
How did Sean Payton stink with Drew Brees for 4 straight years under 500? Then he's Russell Wilson here makes him great.
I just want to know.
Russ had a terrible season under a very, very bad coach with Hackett. Fine. Sean Payton maybe a slight improvement. Not by much.
Without freaking out.
I just think Russ hit a mega floor with a terrible coach and got a slightly better coach and became decent again.
Coaching matters.
No. In my eyes, coaching matters. In this case, maybe about this much.
Okay. Let's go on to Andy Hoffman.
Maybe about this much. Can you see my hands? And maybe about an inch.
Yeah,
like crazy. That.
It's crazy. Let's go on to Andy Hoffman.
No, it's not crazy.
Another member, Andy Hoffman. Thank you, Andy, for being a subscriber.
People will back me on this too. Coaching means nothing.
I don't think. Andy Hoffman says, okay, so first of all, I think this might be the first time I've ever posted a comment prior to the show. Thank you for leaving your first comment. I generally watch you guys long after you posted, and if I have any comments or anything whatsoever to share, you're long off and don't look back. That being said, first, I would like to just say I really do love the show. Wow, all right. That's so far, I'm loving this comment. I'm not only a subscriber, I am a paying subscriber, LOL. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I don't care. I mean, this is on track to be the greatest comment ever. Here's the reality. You have taken a pragmatic approach to talking about the NFL and in particular the NFC North. What I find the most refreshing is your honest approach to your analysis. We can read comments like this all the time.
This is the most uncomfortable comment. I'd rather be yelling "Go Pack, go!"
Okay, watch it. You're not playing to
comment,
you're not playing to a crowd. Even though my 53 years on this planet, I've never witnessed diehard Vikings fans able to fully comment on the Packers honestly, and then and only then add the personal biases at the end. I think what I get the biggest kick out of is when you start to go into a dialogue where I know, you know, and Ziggy knows it's, and let's face it, going to be anything glowing about the Packers or their success. You can't get 3 words out of your intro, and all Ziggy is doing is shaking his head in disgust. There's the look. We should just have a T-shirt of someone like this.
Thank
you very much. That's a really nice comment, Andy. We appreciate that.
Ziggy, that's the first time I've seen that your glasses on in a while.
Yeah.
I could do a whole show about the glasses. It could be done. I can't even see you guys on the computer screen. That's like
just blind as a bat out here.
I mean, you look even hotter. You don't got to see us though.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. We appreciate you listening and being a member, subscribing, everything. It means a lot to us. And I'm sure there will be many, many more moments of Ziggy shaking his head in disgust as the Packers probably going on a Super Bowl potential run next year. From another member, Midwest Mountain Man. Thank you. I don't know if we've seen Midwest Mountain Man in the comments. He says, obviously, nobody is talking about the Raiders being Super Bowl contenders, but the benchmark of success is low for this organization. 2 playoff appearances and 0 wins over the last 21 years. If the Raiders sustain their defense from the end of 2023, since they were the last team to beat the Chiefs, that was a great win for you guys. Shut them down. Do you see them snagging a 7 seed this year, despite having the anti-Ziggy as their GM? Or is the AFC too cutthroat to allow even a modicum of hope for Raider Nation?
Hold on, this is the Raiders?
The Raiders.
There's a chance for 7 seed, yeah. They did exactly what they should have done in the draft. You have 2 solid tight ends now. I think it's a massive advantage to have 2 solid tight ends in Bowers and Michael Mayer. I think it's not the 7 seed. Yeah, why not?
I mean, Gardner Minshew almost took that Colts team to the playoffs, right?
Yes.
And now this Raiders team is just better. You got Max Crosby, Davante Adams, Christian Wilkins. Like there are some really good players on this team. Again, am I super confident about them long term? As you say, they're no one's idea of a Super Bowl contender. But they're a good team. They've got a lot of good pieces. And while they're in a tough division where every game could be difficult, sneaking into the playoffs is definitely possible. And again,
I'm just thinking off the top of my head here.
AFC's tough though.
Let's just pretend you have
the whole AFC North.
Yeah, well,
the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets.
You need Aiden O'Connell to be decent. If Aiden O'Connell is decent,
I think it'll be.
Then yeah, I think they make the playoffs.
I actually think it'll be Minshew. I think Minshew is good enough where, again, like Indianapolis, this Raider team, are the Raiders? If you strip quarterbacks, are the Raiders a better team than the Colts?
It's at least
probably
right. Like it's close.
And like we haven't seen AR play an NFL snap yet. Either,
is the Raiders defense from the end of the year when they were coming on? Then I'd say yes. So I do think that Gardner Minshew is good enough for this team to sneak around. But, no one's going to be talking about them as a wild card team, really. But they can probably surprise a few people and win some games. Wilkins is a huge addition. I don't think they'll get it, Midwest Mountain Man. But I do think that there's a world where the Raiders get in as that 7 spot. Yeah, I think so.
They're going to be competitive for you. I don't think they're not going to.
Yeah, who are you competing with? You're going to be competing with the Steelers, maybe the Jets or the Dolphins, or the Bills. I don't think there's as many world beaters in the AFC as there have been. Like the Chargers are down a little bit potentially. I think it's a loaded conference, but not the same way where we're like, oh, okay, these teams are guaranteed. There's some more weaknesses. Just a few more here now. Renegade 2224 says, out of Jack's many insane takes, what's his worst/hottest take?
None.
What the shuck says the green Gatorade at the Super Bowl. That's a great memory. That was a
oh wow.
Yeah, that was one of the worst takes.
That was a brutal
that is an awesome that's an awesome memory.
I mean recently Jack's been kind of on a heater with Colorado being a Midwest state. Coaches don't matter.
Coaches don't matter.
Like you could really take your pick. What are some other horrendous Jack takes?
How do you think coaching matters in the NFL? How?
I mean, just look at the comment section. We'll see.
Some will agree with me.
So can you think of any other?
Russ is better because he's Russ. He's good. It's not
Colorado
getting on the sideline.
What? Wait, what did you say, Ziggy?
Colorado in the Midwest might be the worst because that's just verifiably false.
Okay, so you think also like nearly half of America has a bad take?
Yeah, I think a lot of America's stupid. I think a lot of America thinks it's in the Midwest.
What's the Midwest? Kansas, Nebraska,
Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Look, you're gonna flat out think it's stupid to say, okay, I think a bordering state could be the Midwest.
I mean, there's only one take Jack makes that is consistently wrong on this show.
But Colorado's not West.
What is it?
Like you got Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California. That's West.
What is Colorado more like? Those states or Kansas, Wisconsin?
I was just in Denver.
Look where Colorado is in the country. Look at a map.
But look at the terrain.
Look at a map and tell me, oh, Jack, this is
Jack. Was there a single person who agreed with you in the comments? Everyone said you were wrong.
But look at a map and tell me how you can say it's a ridiculous take. Look at a U.S. map. Say, what is the Midwest? Okay, Kansas, blah, blah, blah. Then look at Colorado, where it's located compared to those states, and tell me I'm an idiot.
I will.
Like, Colorado's right there in the Midwest with all those Midwestern states right next to
I mean, you draw a line somewhere. That's why it's a map. You draw a line somewhere.
Yeah,
Colorado's the line.
But you're making it seem like this is like an outrageous, like stupid, moronic take.
I think it's stupid.
Like I think stupid is saying, "Oh, Atlanta's in the north." Like saying, Colorado's Midwest is not ridiculous. Like if half the
here you are, renegade.
Like if half the country agrees, it can't be that ridiculous. Look it up.
That's the line. I don't care about half the country.
Yeah, so like, it can't be a moronic, insane take if half the country's on my side.
I mean, people are wrong on a lot of things.
Colorado's Midwest, coaching means shit.
All right, Benjamin Reary.
Sorry, I've been eating. I'm hangry. I haven't eaten food all day.
He says, "What are some of the most ludicrous trends you've seen in power rankings?" We talked a lot about.
I think we covered that during the power rankings.
I would say we were talking about the Chargers or the Cowboys being left a little too low by a lot of people. That's one of them. And yeah, check out the power ranking segment. Okay, there are two more questions or a couple more questions here. X Pomsky X says, well, we moved from 10.3% to 10.4% towards 100,000 subscribers. We have the slow-mo walk to look forward to, Jack's Darkness Retreat, something Paul can do.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, we're going to send you.
When we hit 100K, you're going on a 2-day Darkness
What is this?
retreat.
Like Aaron Rodgers, the Darkness Retreat.
You were just 2 days alone in a dark room.
Was this the episode I wasn't at?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're on the hook.
Zach's been assigning people things.
What was the basis of this thing?
We hit 100,000 subscribers. You will go on a Darkness
retreat. I'm doing a Darkness retreat, but I never agreed to that. I wasn't here to agree.
Oh, no, I didn't agree to the Packer jersey. Ziggy's going on The Bachelor, for the love of God.
Okay, that's actually worse. I was gonna say you sitting here in a jersey, that's fine.
No,
me going on a Darkness retreat.
Yeah, it'll be
fine. Okay, I'll do it. Ziggy Bachelor, yeah, I'll do whatever.
So then he says, 100,000's coming, boys, and it'll be here before you know it. I'm glad to say I was here from the start. Hope you guys continue to grind out the videos as they're super entertaining and brings people like me content in a fun format to know more of what's going on in the NFL. Then says, what's your thoughts on the Davante Adams interview? Do you think he would want to play with Jordan Love? So there's so many interviews going on right now. I went back and watched this before the show started. I don't think you guys have seen it, but Davante Adams went on Max Crosby's show, Raiders teammates, and they were just talking about Davante's time in Green Bay, Jordan Love, his rise to potential stardom here in the NFL. So Crosby said to him, he said, could he be the next one? Meaning, like, could he be the next Packer Hall of Fame quarterback that, of course, we're accustomed to now? He said, I think he is. I think he showed that. I think he's come into his own, the way he's talking to the media, the whole different person from what I saw when I was there. And that comes with experience. He said at the time when he was leaving Green Bay, he said he didn't see enough to believe that Jordan Love could be that guy. And he said he doesn't regret leaving either, because given the situation, how things played out. But in hindsight now, he said, this is a quote from Davante Adams, "Kid's a fucking baller. I'm proud of him. Would love to pull him over to the Raiders." You look back and say, damn, that boy's a baller. I mean, that's a scary thing to hear from as a Vikings fan, is when you have guys like Davante Adams, people who really, truly know what they're talking about, saying this.
And who, if anything, could have a grudge against the Packers for not giving him what he wanted.
Someone who probably dislikes Green Bay a little bit, saying they found their guy. That's not what I want to see. So I think the takeaway is, obviously it seems he would love to play with Jordan Love. And my thought on it is, he's good. We all know Love's going to be a problem. I hate seeing Davante Adams praise Jordan Love. And as Davante Adams, so many nightmare games with Davante Adams running around Lambeau Field or US Bank Stadium just torching us. When he's saying Jordan Love looks like Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, oh my God, we have another 15 years.
Is he
15? Is
he saying that he just thinks Love is great, or that he'd want to play with him?
Oh, he says he wished that he had brought Jordan Love with him to Vegas, but he knows. I don't think he's in Vegas. He acknowledged that he's just would love.
He's in Vegas now, but in all seriousness, if things go poorly for the Packers mid-season, Davante Adams is going to be a guy you're going to
for the Raiders
in trade talks a lot.
Things go poorly for the Raiders.
Yeah, if the Raiders are having a tough start, say the Raiders win 1 or 2 of their first 8 or 9 games, totally possible, right? Then a guy like Davante Adams, he's 32, he's old, he's expensive, you might not want to keep him around. I think there is a legitimate chance mid-season next year you see an Adams-Packers reunion.
Wow, that's a huge claim. Are you serious? Or are you just...
I seriously think... I think Davante Adams is going to show up in trade talks And if they get the right kind of return, moving on from him makes a world of sense.
I mean, I know a lot of people were talking about the Packers going after T. Higgins was someone who came up a lot this offseason. But do you think they need another receiver if you already have Dobbs?
I think they want. If Davante Adams is going to be cheap, and then you can cut him or renegotiate.
Do you imagine Davante?
If you're imagine you're the Packers, you're doing really well next year, but you're in a tight race for the division. If you can add Davante Adams
would be a home wrecker.
Yeah,
it's a similar.
Wait. Like the way you feel about Diggs?
Yes.
No.
You have 4 solid young receivers who are Jordan Love's age, all growing together. Why do you want Davante Adams?
They've never had problems. Davante Adams has
Davante
never
Adams
had
is
problems.
Second best receiver in football.
Yeah, who eats targets from Love's guys.
Because he's great. Yeah, all right, Packers fans in the comment section, we'll make this a breakout clip.
I bet you they don't. I bet you they do not. I bet you they love their core.
I think they.
I bet you the Packers would have loved to add a guy. I mean, look, Davante Adams went for what? Over the past 2 years, he's gone for 1,600 yards and 22 touchdowns. 2,600 yards.
Davante Adams is the thing about Davante Adams that I always turns my head is whenever you see the NFL top 100, whatever it is, every single player in the league says that dude's the best. Like there are a lot of great receivers in football, and most of the time, if you ever have a top 3. It's like Davante Adams is on that list because people have Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Diggs at points, Jefferson. Everyone always agrees Davante Adams is in the top 3, if not 1. I think that dude. I mean, that dude is sick.
The Packers don't need him.
So I don't get this though. Why? Like, how could you possibly not want Davante Adams on you? The Packers. Could you imagine that offense with Davante Adams?
Because you have your guys.
Yeah, but he is legit stud. I think the other guys are very, very good players and are going to break out over the next year. But can you imagine if you have to put two people on Davante Adams? That's the way it is. If you have 2 people on Davante Adams, you have 4 other receivers, and Bo Melton's also good. Josh Jacobs. Oh my God.
I'm a huge believer in home wreckers in the NFL.
Yeah, maybe Antonio Brown scarred you. I don't think it happens, Ziggy.
That's a different case to me, David. He was just stealing the whole time.
But do we see the line? Like the Packers are doing great, the Raiders aren't. Davante Adams, you don't have a lot of time left with him. Moving him for like a late round pick would make sense.
Could they afford him? I mean, I'm
easily, because Davante Adams, he doesn't have any guaranteed money after 2024, right? And the Raiders are eating the signing bonus, so you just have to pay him a few million this year, and then you can renegotiate next year.
Davante Adams leaving the Raiders makes a lot of sense if they start to crumble. I think they could be in a spot where they're contending for a playoff. Again, probably not.
Green Bay will send in an offer if that happens.
I think all these young stud receivers in Green Bay will feel slighted with Davante Adams on the team.
Yeah, sure, man. I think these young receivers, you listen to them talk, these young receivers want to win games.
They can win them by themselves. They don't need him.
Man.
They've shown that.
Packers offense would be unstoppable with Davante.
It's almost unstoppable now.
One more here from What the Shuck. Another member. Thanks again. And What the Shuck left a comment about the green Gatorades. That was a great comment. He says, hopefully I actually make it in time for the mailbag for once. Who do you guys think is the all-time best team? Taking into account they would need to be able to beat every other team in history. He throws out the 98 Vikings, the 07 Patriots, the 2024 Packers. The best team ever.
Oh, that's a good one. There's been a lot of...
I have a thought about this, but I don't think it's one you guys are going to pick, so I'm going to let you go first.
Man, I mean, that Patriots team was really, really good. 17, what are they, 19-0?
We're also only 25 years old.
We are. I mean, the 85 Bears obviously jumps out as a team with that defense, but of course, I'm going to say that the 98 Vikings were the best team to never win. And I think they would have been the best team in NFL history had they won at 15-1. Best offense in the history of the league before the Patriots broke the records. But yeah, I'm probably going. Let me just think here.
I'm going to say the 09 Steelers to beat the Cardinals.
The 09 Steelers beat the
ferocious defense. Big Ben in his prime.
I wish I'd seen more of the 85 Bears because, when you hear people talk about them, that defense, I mean, just shut everyone down. Go look at their schedule. It's pretty fun. Like, it's like 3 points, 0 points, 3.0 points.
They made a Super Bowl video before you win it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's probably it, right?
I mean, I didn't watch him play, but from everything I heard, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny when it's it's always tough to compare eras because I do think that guys playing now are just stronger, faster. So it depends if you weigh that into consideration. But yeah, I'm probably going with who's the best team you ever saw? That's a better question maybe for us.
The 09 Steelers.
Well, I'm just saying I don't think the 85 Bears are the best team of all time.
What do you? I mean, 72 Dolphins were undefeated. I think you're gonna go with like that 15-1 Steelers team.
No. This is a team that here are their 3 playoff games. Beat the Vikings 41-13. Beat the Rams 30-3. Then the Super Bowl beat the Broncos 55-10. You got one of the best offensive players ever in Jerry Rice or Joe Montana getting in the ball. You got Ronnie Lott on defense. The 89 49ers, this is a team a lot of people forget about. You got Roger Craig. There were so many good players on this team. And, I just read that is an authoritative playoff run. When your closest game in the playoffs is 41-13.
Man.
That is dominating everyone. And again, can you imagine a Super Bowl you win 55-10?
No, that was the Chargers Super Bowl.
No, that was the 49ers Broncos.
The Chargers was later. Chargers was the Jerry Rice and Steve Young went 5 or 6 touchdowns.
We're talking blowout bowls. How about that Peyton Manning Broncos team?
Yeah, the difference is that Peyton Manning was a little bit of a worse player at that point in his career than Joe Montana.
Yeah, I mean that Bronco defense was great. I'm trying to think, was there any other dominant runs that were? We've been lucky over the course of the time that we've kind of been alive for football games and really acknowledging Super Bowls. We've had great Super Bowls almost always.
And legitimately, my team since we've been alive has been one of the best. One of the best.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the 85 Bears, but again, take that with a grain of salt. The 09 Vikings would have been the best team ever had the EJ Henderson not gotten injured. All right. And there's one more. He says, do you guys play any football video games? If so, what's your favorite ones?
Oh
my God. Yeah.
I am the world's best player.
No. I am the world's best NFL Street player. And Ziggy and I contest for the crown of NFL Street.
It really wasn't close. You were okay at execution. I was Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
I used to beat your ass towards the end.
But then I learned how the game works. I was Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in one. Innovator, executor, always elite.
Classic. NFL Street is a phenomenal game.
My favorite NFL video game was probably Madden 09 on the Wii.
That was fun. That was also a lot of fun. Last thing Shuck said was, over 100 years ago, children worked in coal mines. Today, one of the most popular games kids play is Minecraft. Do the children yearn for the mines? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I always found myself going mining late at night in Minecraft. What a great game! It very addictive game at one point in my life. Could have been a problem. All right, we will call it a show there. Thanks again for everyone who listened, liked, subscribed to the channel, who's become a member. I mean, that was a long show. We're on a roll here right now.
But we appreciate you all. We're going to keep doing shows.
We've been on a roll.
I haven't eaten in 12 hours.
The mailbags get out of hand. It's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
If they join and become members, the mailbags are going to have to continue being out of hand.
Yeah, we appreciate it. That was a fun show, guys. All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. Appreciate all the comments as always, and see you soon.